Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Aaron Hunt Studios presents something different, which is what we tend to be known for doing. We have got a job where this ceiling collapsed on an old lady's head. At least, this section has come down, and she was on the computer right there. So I'm going to fix it up for her. This is what the way I'm going to do it, given the situation. The way I'm going to do it is just like the most budget price possible. And then we're going to rebuild a new ceiling, which is what she would like, is something more cozy. So she declared it to be a little bit lower than obviously someone had tried to put ceiling around at this point here, and that has failed as well. Okay, so we did it. I've pulled it all out, and I used this specialized ceiling removal tool. I'm not sure what exactly the correct words is for it, but if I can tell you what, whoever invented that, they must be raking it in. Okay, so what we got is like everything rid of that has had termite damage, anything just like powder, and non-structurally sound whatsoever, and that's a fair whack of it. We got 2 whole beams going missing there, and I was hoping to use the ceiling above the roof structure above to help support this in the middle. That's not going to happen. It's going to have to be the other way around. I've got to build something across here that's strong enough that we brace up and brace that up, because if anybody walks on that bit of the roof, they're going to go straight through it and straight through my job, and I don't want to have to come back and fix it again. So we'll have to strengthen that up. Challenges before us. I've had to change my design versus what it is I had. I had a lot of 1070mm pieces because of the size of the trailer to get the stuff out here. The trailer was that width. It just happened, that's what it was. So hang on, what do I do with this? We've still got so much of that, and school's out. That means trouble. So I have to work my design around that aspect, that I have a lot of 1070mm. So let's do 3 sections, 2 big bracings across this way, and then we'll brace everything to that and do each one, 1070mm from the side wall, so we can just use up 100% of that timber and the cross section in the middle. But we still need like a crisscross to get the 4 sheets in. I think it'll be stronger and better than before, actually, in my design. But there's no room for error. I've done the math on the timber. I've got just enough wood to make this happen. If I miscut anything, I'm in big trouble. The dilemma we have is that this side of the wall's excellent. You can see the joists, termites haven't touched it. They're well bolted on. They're very strong on that side. And we have a second wall which is the same, that one there. Sadly though, the other 2 walls, that is not the case. They've just been screwed in through the plasterboard with some liquid nails, and that is it. There is nothing really else holding those pieces of wood up there except that old plasterboard of the wall. There's nothing screwed in behind it, as the termites have eaten everything. So what I'm going to have to do is bracket up this corner, and I'm going to reinforce it to the roof, and take it up to the roof and get some steel brackets and take it up where possible, and just get some 90 elbow steel brackets and slip them in there just to give that some downward strength that way. That's well anchored, but that isn't. So I want to give these little corner brackets in, just in the meantime, to be absolutely certain this doesn't move, and a little bit of extra strength there in holding it. So I made up these little brackets, but they're not quite flush level, so I'm going to get a G-clamp and squeeze that together. I've done one side, but don't screw that in until they're level. I was going to cut that out, but realised the curve in the wall wasn't worth it. I have to cut suit with the fill in with some putty. We'll make it look good. Cornice in the end, it'll look fantastic. So brought it up, found a little scrap bit of wood, G-clamped it on there, and then that gives me my level. Now that the ceiling's going to come out right at the end, even though there's a bit of a gap, it's not going to make any difference to the construction of it all. Oops. Hard to be cameraman and lighting department at the same time. Oh, look at that, like a glove. Let's get the square out. That could be advantageous. It's got a bit of a spring in it, see? Just pushing this way. So I overcut this, push it in so that then jams it in there, locks it all together, nice and tight. moly, look at that. It's, oh yeah, look at that. Squeeze that in and then just drive some screws. What we're going to go off is this centerpiece and go factory 200 in. We use factory corners where they meet in the center. Sorry, Bonnie. We use factory corners at the meet point here, and the angle cuts and everything will be done around the side. So obviously there'll be like 2, 4, 6, 8 cuts all to do, and measure depending on whatever it is. I'll go around there and measure it. As long as this here is square to the center, there you go, there's a pointer. As long as this here is square to the center, that's all that matters. The rest of the room doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's go and do the fiddly stuff tomorrow. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, we'll put a steel strap, run it up there. There's a bit of jarrah still intact, just up the top there. There's still a bit of meat to it, so we can attach a strap down there and bring it down here, and just to give it a little bit of extra. But I'm now thinking to go crossways, just at least one direction in the middle, just to increase the surface area of my glue. And I'm trying to lift these sheets up on my own and get it to go up and stick. Just, you know, hold it, grab itself enough for me to be able to put the screws in on my own. I'll probably have to work out some kind of support. I'll put that in. But the problem here is like bracing from above. I've been thinking of several different ways to go up on angles and put a bracing that way and that way, but realize, hang on, the air ducting, which is going to go here, that gets in the way of that. My end thought is up the center. I can get this 3 meter bonus piece that we scored from the neighbors, since it is the longest and it might solve our problem. To at least utilize the 1, 2, 3 beams that we do have left, and then string it along, bolt it to it, down the center of the room, and then brace the two together, straight up and down. Get my piece of wood closer to the action. I can simply lift that up now, twist this, like that. Like, an 8.5 is almost exactly the same as what the thread is. You're thinking, oh, hang on, that's too much, because you need timber there for the thread. This is West Australian old school jarrah. Trust me, you want same for same. It's going to grab it like crazy anyway. Anything more, anything less than that, you're going to snap your bolt off. Your plastic square section is 370 mil square exactly. Do not make your measurement 370. That'd be crazy. You definitely want 2 millimeters. It is square, so millimeter one way, millimeter the other, millimeter one way, millimeter the other. Always increase it, because it's just never what you want it to be. You think you're in control, and you're not. For some reason, Murphy and his laws kick in and ruin everything. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. Just to give a summary, I've had to re-brace that corner because there's just nothing but oatmeal, the termite oatmeal porridge, whatever we want to call it, behind that wall. There's nothing holding that up. So I've done the best I can to use what structural integrity there is left in those bits of jarrah, whatever is left. And kind of bonded the two together a little bit with some steel, because termites don't like eating steel. So that should help. Sanded back everything so it's pretty much smooth and flush and all that stuff. So in summary, pretty much the only timber that we have had to pay for is 4 beams like that. I got that one there. The 2 main ones are the cross in the middle, which was important anyway. And that piece there, that's it. All the rest were either salvaged from other jobs, the green ones that came from a vegetable garden. So that saved us there. So that is it. Just the cost of the sheets, 4 bits of wood and some fittings. I've just left that there a bit for now till I get the aircon to come through first. And once it's in place, then we can get the piece of wood and then put it in. If I put it in now, you wouldn't be able to get the ducting through. Whee! Okay, so it's all screwed into timber in the dead center. And I'll take the headlamp off and try and get around that. So basically, nice, easily workable distance. I've just used a caulking gun to use a bit of gap filler and just run it up through the big gaps where the wall really bulges out, so that when I put the putty over the top, air can't get to the back of it. I mentioned this in my when I did an air conditioning video. Same concept. You can't have a gap at the back that goes right through to the roof, and then just put like powder type wall putty, that plaster, that sort of thing, and stick it in there. It will fracture. No, without a doubt. But if you put Celastic in there and seal it up, less likely to fracture. And if it did, at least no insects and spiders and stuff can start making a home up through any gaps and that, because they physically can't get through. Even through a fracture of the plaster wouldn't matter. It is still sealed. You won't get any drafts either. Well, the trick I'm going to basically teach you here is sometimes you can get a bit overzealous about like filling in the gaps and or everything. You could be doing things unnecessarily. So the way to do it, which I'll show you right now, is we'll sand it back. You get it to a level where you feel that, yeah, it's pretty good. Like you think you've done it, you've covered every screw hole, you feel pretty confident about what you've done. Get it sanded back, give it a coat of paint, and just let that dry, and then I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so this is the morning after the first coat, and what I've been trying to say is that it's easier, rather than mess around with it too much, give it a coat of paint, and you get a light, like I've got this light here, and cast your light across the ceiling like that, and suddenly all the imperfections, they stick out. You can see that? You go light that way, it sort of disappears. You go that way, you see it? Another example, like here, this line's a classic, look at that. Like there, but if I shine the light that way, if I take away the light and go daylight, you tend to not really be able to see it so well. Whatever stands out like this, go fix that up, and then you're pretty much done. That's after 3 coats. Third coat just went on, so if you see any lines, it'll fade out. It's a matte color. We grabbed the most cheapest paint possible. It's $17.10, I think, I do believe this was, and I wasn't expecting much from it, really. I thought we watered down, and it's actually proven to be really something. It was, I think, actually the paint roller and pan tray, was dearer than the paint itself. So yeah, I said 4 litres did that much area, so we didn't make any money out of this one. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for now. I know the corners look terrible. There's cornice going over that in the end anyway. It's just something in the meantime. There's no point cleaning it up because we'll be painting it all, and yeah, you get what I mean. Positive comments down below and questions. I will do my best to get back to you if you have any questions at all, or a particular videos on how to do anything around your house renovation wise. Let me know and I will work on it and find out what it is that people want, and I'll get it to you. But this is what we did this time. We've turned that horrible situation into this. At least it's not glamorous, but it is better than nothing. And it's dead still. I love it. It's sealed and it's done for a mega budget, but you can feel that there's no air movement at all. So when she puts a heater on, the heat stays. It doesn't go leaking through the roof, and mosquitoes getting in through little gaps or spiders and stuff. It's all sealed. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by for the next video.